Good morning, team. Tuesday morning, and we are back again. Market having a little bit of a gap down here overnight. Bit of a gap down off those highs that we printed, especially on the ETF. So market having a little bit of a wobble here, mainly because if anyone was watching the comments Trump started making after the close yesterday. All right, those aren't just tariff comments. They were tariff comments. It was also quite an aggressive comment about the conflict in Israel and Palestine, right? And market does not like that. I think his words were something like, if you don't give the hostages back by 12 o'clock on Saturday, all hell will break loose. Market doesn't like comments like that, all right? You are edging into World War territory giving comments like that. So not very wise to talk like that. So a little bit of a freak out here along with tariffs. Nothing too bad, though. We're just slowly dripping down. So as always, we're going to follow the technicals in the charts, right? Let's start with the technicals. So daily, what are we doing? Exactly the same as we've been doing for as long as I can think about now. Basically, we are closing above old highs, pretty much, other than the odd drop below, but most of the time, other than this one day, closing above those old highs, and we're stuck in this sort of range here. All right, so failure to break the downside, failure to break the upside. Here is your range, back and forth and back and forth. All right, so nothing confirmed. This can definitely be a build of liquidity versus this to drive higher. The question is, when is it going to be ready, if at all? I would imagine if it's going to do it, it's going to need something like CPI tomorrow to do a cool print for a drift higher. All right, any print higher on CPI, any sticky inflation, maybe we come and clean up all these levels and then we can see what's what. So market might just stay in that range today. All right, no big news coming today. Lots and lots of Fed talk. So overnight with my team, we talked about the rotation from supply to back test this area here, which is where we're at right now. All right, so pathing for today is pretty simple, really, because we're still boxed in. If we zoom out, right, on the H1, let's just move this down back a bit. Here's your pivot, drive up, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, sweep of that low, turn back inside. Possible lower high will only be confirmed if we come and take this out, and then this would be backside of the move, and we'd be looking for a wash down to here. But, all right, this move overnight can simply be a sweep, because where we actually opened up, and in all the ETFs, this doesn't even exist. Right, all we did was go here, here, here. We are still in this range right now until something proves otherwise. So when we're in a range, we're thinking about the edges. All right, we're thinking about the edges. Where are the edges? Where offers good value? This level we're at right now, around sort of the 700 down to sort of 760. This is key in my opinion. Either we do a failed breakdown, a reclaim. We've got this trendline liquidity here, and we send it back to supply that we created yesterday at 840. Obviously, we get through there, then we're driving back up through these 900s and 970s if we can get there. That would be for a failed breakout. If we stay heavy down here, all right, if this starts to reject here into sort of 700, 720, drops down, rejects here into 673, we're looking for this move into old point of control, basically 600. If it stays heavy there, right, then we might want to retest that overnight low. Less likely because this is major excess. But if we stay heavy, this rotation down here becomes possible. All right, so where we're at now is demand. This is a key level. If they fail to move underneath, we can start grinding back up. Point of control would be key. And then yesterday's point of control, remember, we left buyers up high. All the sellers who took positions here, they're nicely in the money right now. Any buyer who is swing long here is absolutely fooked right now, waking up in 160, 188 points of pain. So market, if it can rotate up there, I expect some supply up there. Depends how we get there. That's what I'm looking at. Dialing in a bit more into the lower time frame, you can see overnight, okay, we gapped down. We closed, where is our close? Cash closed right here on this pivot, all right? Right in this pivot. So we opened up, gap down, come back to test that, react, sell. Asia comes back to test supply, sell. London comes back to test Asia supply, sell. We are in a sell. Lower time frame is in a sell. The only issue right now is we're in a demand pool. All right, we're possibly in a demand pool. So you have to be a little bit patient here. If we were waking up here or here, I'd be looking for that sell down into here for sure. Market feels weak right now, doesn't it? Look at the structure, then look left, and where are we selling into? An area of old resistance, RBS, resistance becomes support. All right, so we know there's liquidity back here to the left. If we're going to come and sweep it, maybe we can take out yesterday's lows in the Asia session, 650, I'd say that would be, or 659, that would be a key level, and then through that back down into the pool lower. So definitely in a sell right now on the lower time frame. You have to think about this sort of trend line here, all right? What causes a squeeze? If they fail to break down, where's my pen gone? If we fail to break down and we reclaim and you start getting over this, all the shorts from overnight, their stops are here. This is the moment that I'd be thinking about a long rotation to take out these shorts into stops, and if we get lucky, previous day point of control test. Those are the plays. Those are literally the plays. That's what you've got. A continuation short or a failed break lower right now for a squeeze back up. That's all that's on deck right now. You are in a range. I'm going to remind you, you're in a range. Even though this feels heavy, your location is a blue box until we create this into a red box. A little bit iffy, all right? Might be that we've already sort of turned it into a red box, but I really don't want to flip that over, let's say, until we get into the open. Having a quick look across the other markets, then the VIX with a gap up to 1620. Key level on the VIX is going to be 1666. Ooh. Breakout of that opens the door for a drive up to 1730s and then 1770s and then all the way. I mean, I don't think it gets through 18 unless there's a big spike, but yeah, through that and then 20. So we'd be risk off. Any breakout on the VIX above 1660 that holds, we'd be risk off on the market. Continuation of a sell. We are looking a little bit heavy here. QQQ is at a neckline, all right? So the ETFs are at very, very key positions here right now. Same with the spiders, right? Exactly the same. You're looking at exactly the same plays with the spiders. They are trading into a gap right now versus yesterday's New York low. All right, so if we reject yesterday's IB low and we stay heavy versus previous day low, there is a rotation for a gap fill down to 600s in the ETFs. All right, so SPY can trade right back down to 600s. QQQ can trade back down to 522s. All right, so you have to be aware of that. If we push and fail this morning, there is gap fill potential. All right, back down to these levels here. Remember, this is the new week opening gap. We closed Friday and we opened up here and we had a flush point. So there is a gap down into here that has potential if we stay heavy at the open. Looking at the Mag 7 very, very quickly. How long we got? 5 minutes. This seems like there we go. That's horrible color. Looking at the Mag 7, let's have a quick look. Apple, all right, was on a big gap down and had a big old shove about 5-10 minutes ago. There was a news announcement came out that's partnering with Alibaba. All right, so that gave it 7-point ripper off the lows, or maybe 5-point ripper off the lows, pulling back now into VWAP. All right, but it's still holding itself above VWAP right now. It's still in yesterday's range right now. Everything else you're going to find has been weak. All right, so Meta, big gap down. Amazon, gapping down. Goog, gapping down, trying to find a little bit of a bid versus previous day after hours level. Meta, gapping down, coming into sort of previous day low level. Nvidia gapping down, trying to reprice its balance. So Nvidia went on a big squeeze yesterday. It might want to come and test, I'd say, 131 down to, let's just call it 130. That's a big level for Nvidia on a back test. Any so can hold there. It goes back bullish for a trade back to the upside. Yesterday's highs. Tesla remains weak. All right, that is getting absolutely pummeled. If you didn't see it, Elon made a bit of a cheeky bid to buy open source AI, OpenAI from Microsoft yesterday. And got told basically to stick it up his backside, and they said they'd happily buy Twitter off him. So a little bit of banter there online, but I'm not sure Tesla shareholders will like, you know, the let's say the loudness of Elon recently. So that's where we're at. That's what we're looking at. All right. So either a fail breakout and then move higher, which What will that look like? Well, if we hold this imbalance, if this is excess on this volume, if we start doing this and we start reclaiming, and we can think about, you know, very simply something, give me a trend line, something along the lines of this, all right, and then a breakout of this, we'll be looking for gap fill to here, and then previous day point of control, and then supply. Any failure up here or even here, we'll be looking for the gap fill for the new week opening gap. So new week opening gap fill is here, previous day close is here, and we're in between it. Look, 1, 1. All right, so not ideal location, unfortunately. But let's just see what we get at the open. Not going to be slamming in orders straight away. Let's just see what we get. Make sure I've got all my charts ready. Going to get through chat really, really quickly. So you see who's in there this morning. Let's see what you were all saying on the poll. What did you all think? Most of you bearish today. All right, 49% of you bearish today in chat. 33%, or it's just changing, 47% of you bullish. 19% of you thinking chop. Kind of tells me, if it kind of feels similar, it's a bit of a hard read. I'll know in the first 30 minutes, I think, this morning, what we're going to do. Good morning, Ryan. Ryan saying you got the short of the break of the demand zone that we talked about in Discord. Nice work, mate. So already 1 up on the day. Morning, Yulimar, TR, Vince, Peter, Marek, Jeff, Jesse, Douglas, Clint, Thumper, Indicator, Coop, Mr. Slim, Leron, Trend Trees 81, Blake Fossland, DJ Noah, Rob Drag, TR, BU. I thought I saw your name earlier. Maybe I didn't. BU. Good morning, everyone. Morning, morning, morning. Did any of you trade Asia London? Were any of you part of this net short position overnight, out of interest? It was a nice trade down to here. It made sense that it would want to come and back test this level once it gapped down on the open. Let's see what we've got on the book. Having a quick look around. All right, biggest order on the book right now, 261 lot sitting at 650. And a 217 lot filling at 725. It's in front of that pivot, right to the top of this box. All right, so there's a big sell order right here into these deep pullback flow zones. And then 650, where's 650? Underneath this low, down into here. Interesting position in front of old point of control. That's what's on the book. We've got a few seconds until open. Let's see what we get here at the open. See if we get a push and a fail or sustained bid higher. Just let this shake out. All right, I'm going to look at the mag. Apple, the only one opening green. Tesla, 1.8% down. Nvidia, 0.8% down. Meta, 0.75% down. Google, 0.5% down. Amazon, 0.1% down, trying to go green already. Microsoft, 0.2% down. And Apple green. All right, so here's a big drive up at the open. Let's mark out this New York open. So like we said, don't want to get short in the hole in demand. It's the worst thing you can do. Respect that blue box. Nice little squeeze up after it went and drove down into liquidity. So how do we act here at the VWAP? If we start trading through the VWAP, remember we've got that big old trend line that we've created overnight. Lots of stops. It can go and attack from London and Asia. We are going to remain in this rotating range. It can go all the way back up, close that gap, previous day close, previous day point of control. But we're coming down. We're coming up to the trend line now. Morning, Christy, Willa Williams, Mr. Slim, Kathy, Yulimar got the trade in Asia for 500. Nice work, lovely work. Hooray, good morning. Morning, everyone. All right, so driving straight up to VWAP here. Remember, tons of liquidity we talked about. All the Asia and London traders, stops. If it pivots through here, then I think we go for that gap fill. If it fails up here, then maybe we rotate back down and we have to see how we act when we get back to demand, right? How do we act when we get back to demand? Amazon able to go green on the session. Apple, the big mover this morning off that bar news, right? That's a big old push on Apple off that bar news. Does that do enough to wake the market up to go with it? I guess that would be the question. ES trading into its VWAP right now. SPY already through it. A little bit further to go until we test these downtrends. Market very, very bullish on this opening drive. How far does this squeeze go? That's the question. Does it want to come and take out some of these pivots? Or is this, oh, did not want to get rid of the flow zones, thank you. Or is it just going to get stuck here at the VWAP? A bit, some weird action going here on the flow zones. What is going on, TradingView? Never seen that before. All right, there's the drive up into VWAP right here, right now. A little bit of selling here. Remember, market bullish off this rotation. All right, short's probably getting squeezed in the hole there a little bit. Taking out all that liquidity. And just continues to rotate here. Not a pullback in sight yet. All right, 3 minutes in. Continues to drive higher. Look at this squeeze. It's just going to go and try and clear out all the liquidity. And when it's done, it will probably get some failure. So first pivot coming in, I'd say into 69 through that, a trade into 90 through that 814, and then through that the gap fill potential. So a huge, huge drive. Expecting some weakness to come in at some point for a rotation lower, or not a rotation lower, a back test, I should say, of where we just came from. It continues to squeeze higher. ES at the VWAP. Apple now 1.2% up. Google just about going green. Everything else red in the session. Still screaming higher here. Can't be short in this. I'll let it finish doing what it needs to do, whatever that is. And then we can either think about a short rotation back down, or we can think about if it pulls back in and offers a long, we can start grabbing some of that long. Just letting this do what it wants to do. Very, very tricky when we trade edges, but this was the edge. The blue box, you can see this blue box was here the whole night. I haven't changed this. Took it by a tick, and we're trading upside right now. So haven't been able to initiate any position in this. Looking like we're driving up towards that London high into 790s. I'm watching that London high and the Asia high. Once we get through that, we can think about what next. Turn VRVP on. Let's just see where volume was. Yeah, all that volume left up in the top side right now. So here is trend test on the ES. Just what we talked about. If it can break through this, pull back and hold, then we might go for that gap fill. SPY already breaking trend. ES not breaking trend yet. Watching to see if pullbacks into some structure. We could do with some structure here, really, because this is a decent drive, like 70-point drive without, you know, any structure to play off. So I have to see if pullback sort of into VWAP hold or not. Remember, this is just a squeeze right now, nothing more than that. Liquidity above on the book, all the way up into 800 right now. Would like to get involved in this, but I'm not going to chase it up. So reclaiming, oh, Jesus, reclaiming overnight point of control. Here comes the London, the move into London that we talked about. Unfortunately not in this, not offering me anything to get in. So the move into London. London highs right here, Asia highs above, and then the gap fill into the close of yesterday. Doing that move that we talked about in Discord. Those in Discord, when we went over that pathing, it's doing that move straight back upside already. Very nice. The higher it goes without offering pullback, the harder this is going to be. But it's very much like we talked about yesterday. We are in a market which just squeezes and squeezes and squeezes. And with that, it means very hard to get any pullback to get involved in. So it seems like every day we gap down and the gap is soaked, shorts get stuck, and then we just squeeze higher. And it doesn't give much opportunity to get involved. Okay, London high now taken. Absolute ripper here. Apple up almost 2% already. Yeah, QS. Took some liquidity there, failing back inside the trend on the ES so far. Plenty of time left though. Not much structure here. That's the hardest thing right now. Let's do an anchor off the open print just so we've got one, because there's going to be a trend up anchor. Nvidia going green now. Google going green. Apple with a bit of a pullback here after that big drive. We're only 7 or 8 minutes into this session. H1 driving up, starting to take out all of that liquidity. Still in range rotation, remember, we are still in range rotation. What I would say is this drive up, we made absolutely no structure, all right? If this doesn't hold here, it can come all the way down. This is a straight up move. If it wants to come straight back down, it can. We're waiting for some form of structure to be built out here. Bit like yesterday. This is just like yesterday morning. I think we just went straight up without any structure. Yeah, exactly, Coot. Yeah. The only entry, I guess, is this failed breakout. We flipped this down here, started to base, but I mean, you've got to be pretty brave to pull that trigger for that move up at the open, haven't you? You've got to be pretty brave just to pull that. We have taken out the liquidity at London. The question is, do we drive back down towards VWAP and maybe even lower to see if we base out here or not? Or are we just going to keep squeezing? Apple giving back a little bit here. $156 lot at 800 on the book. The same guy as yesterday. I feel like that was the size that was there yesterday. Oh, drink today. Just water right now. Yeah, just water right now. Only 6:40 in the morning for me. So I already had a coffee. Walked the dog, 5 a.m. Told Discord what I was looking for. So SPY starting to hold above that trend line, right? The breakout on the trend line, SPY starting to hold it. Morning, Miguel. We're very extended from flow zone, so I'm not thinking about buying this yet. I don't want to just short here either, but we have taken some liquidity. We are in a squeeze. I don't want to become part of the squeeze. I'm going to have to just sort of let this shake out a little bit. Looking at the book, buys into 725 and 650. 725, is that below VWAP? Well below. It's where we broke out from. All right, buyers are all the way down here right now on the book, where we broke out from. All right, they're looking for a pullback all the way in. Like we said, this is thin structure. That is a squeeze structure up. You can go thin up, thin down. Just remember that. We've stolen the liquidity from London. We didn't quite make Asia. How we act on this pullback is key. Can we build out some structure? Does it do something like this? And then we can think about the rotation for the gap fill. Or does it fail down here and we just go lower? Potential, Ryan, yeah, but we're very high with, like, there's no structure down here, but it is potential. I'd rather see something like this to show me buyers want to come in. Remember, this is a big move up, very fast, but it is potentially going to build it out. It has got liquidity above it can aim for. The whole number at 800, Asia into 814, and gap fill and point of control all the way up here if it wants to get going. But this is thin up. This is nothing more than a squeeze up, in my opinion. So I'm going to let this. This is the anchor off New York Open into 60s. It doesn't look like they're that fussed about protecting it. There's a 140 order on at 750 right now. And then size lower, 725, 650, size lower. Yeah, there's lots of Fed talk today, Johnny boy. Tons and tons and tons of Fed talk. It's a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. I'll bring it up here. I saw it earlier and I thought that's not nice. Where did I see it? Might have been on TradingView. Yeah, Powell. It's not showing me everyone else, but I saw it. It must have been last night somewhere. There's quite a lot of Fed talkers today, spread throughout the day. Yeah, we've got a little while till Powell. So was that it from the market then? Just big old squeeze and then nothing. Inside the daily still. Apple giving back about 0.6% so far. There you go. Bowman and Williams later on as well. Yeah. A couple more minutes and you get a new M15, M5 bar. We can see what's what. It's just a straight drive up on this H1 bar off that open. Trying to produce a flag here to go higher now. It's trying to produce a flag to go higher. Flow zones haven't caught up. We haven't back tested VWAP. There's tons of liquidity like we talked about for it to aim for. We've only taken out this guy here. But it's I don't love this trade to the upside, if I'm honest, even though structure-wise looks good. I think a back test first is much more preferable given the size of that squeeze. But we waited for that yesterday and it never came. And it came in lunch, didn't it? That deep back test and trap, we got it in lunch, which is why I stayed that extra hour. So SPY can't get, or ES can't get an 5-minute close above the trend line. It's trying to do it now. There is potential for a squeeze here. If shorts just entered there, again, like we said, we've got lots of liquidity to aim for. So I think into 800 and we take out 800, you get probably a move into like 815-ish. We get through there and we go all the way up here for the gap fill. Gap fill looks on. I would have much rather it built out a bit of structure here. Apple giving back though quite a lot, almost 1% back now though. Let me have a little look at what the rest of the mag looking like. Microsoft stuck underneath VWAP. Amazon through VWAP, about to back test it. Google back to VWAP. It's a bit ugly out there right now. Meta underneath VWAP. Nvidia on a bit of a tear here, going up to that previous day high. Like we said, that's the breakout point on Nvidia. Tesla doing absolutely nothing. Does look like this wants to go and test that 800. Big seller at 800. 160 lot there at 800. Watching to see if they fill him or if he lifts it. Yeah, still stuck at that trend line. Cannot break out of it. SPY and the Qs have. We're starting to build a lot of liquidity here now. We've been here a decent amount of time. So someone's going to get stuck here soon. Lower time frame trend bullish. Higher time frame, I would actually say we're in a range right now. Higher time frame from previous day close to current day open. Right, for me, the range right now in this session is here. Simple as that. Excess below, excess above. Overnight, we've done this. Shorts got in the hole down here. We squeezed up. Right, either we gap fill this or we come and test this. Just gonna have to wait. In my opinion, right now, I'm waiting. I'm not taking position here. But ES cannot get through that trend line. It's going to come and back test VWAP. Right, and how it acts there is key. If it starts letting go, we get a wash back down towards the opening print on the day. If it can hold, SPY's VWAP is basically at the trend line that it's broken to move to the upside. So if it can hold that, it can potentially squeeze. It's just basing at 16. Not much happening right now. Range pretty tight the last 10 minutes or so. Morning, Myron. It's been a bit of a shite open the last few days, but those of you who hung around with me into lunch yesterday, we got a really nice trade. I should say you all got a nice trade. I didn't take it. I stuck to my rules. I don't trade at lunch. I gave you a nice trade. I feel like ES definitely wants to back test VWAP if it can. Wants to see if buyers will step in at 70. Remember, the name of the game the last week have been trapping shorts on lows. It's been the name of the game for the last probably more than a week now, 2 weeks. Just waiting. Will it offer an inverted head and shoulders or something like that? Definitely just not going to just buy up here. Apple now under 1%. Remember, it got almost 2% up. It's starting to really pull back in now. Rest of the market red other than Nvidia. So it's not like we're having a big return back to the upside in the market today. This was a squeeze probably off the Apple and Bar news more than anything else. If we get a deep flush and it holds, I'll think about taking a long position. If we can't do that, and I'm just going to wait to see if we break down underneath that big demand block that we have. Yeah, Powell at 10 o'clock. Powell at 10, Williams at 3:30, Bowman at 3:30 as well. He's testifying in Congress, so I don't know if he's going to give too many. He might come out straight away and say, today I'm not talking about fiscal policy. We don't know. It's possible, Blake, though. It's possible. Anything's possible right now. A range tightening right up so far in this session. Big pump off the open or big squeeze off the open and then just sideways. We're just waiting here. Nothing to do right now. Very much like yesterday, we had to wait and wait and wait. We are just trading sideways at that London high. I haven't backtested anything yet. ES is looking like it wants to have another go here. All right, ES is looking like it wants to have a go at breaking out of that trend line. Remember, we have trend line liquidity that we built right here. We talked about it in the pre-market. All right, let's build it right here. I'd be looking for a back test of that or even deeper. ES has not broken out of this, of the equivalent of this trend line yet. SPY has, but the ES has not. We are basing up here at flow zones right now. I would really, really prefer we build liquidity here, we sweep, we either hold here or hold here, and we come back for that return knowing stops are left in the market. That's always a preferred kind of play. Very much like yesterday at lunch. If you remember at lunch, this is exactly what we took. So far, it's holding. Sellers tried once, sellers tried twice. If it starts to break out of here, we have 800 in gap fill. Remember, there's a big seller still at 800. 160 lot on the tape at 800. Here you go. He's about to get filled. Let's see if he lifts or actually gets filled here. Yeah, he's filled. He's filled, and he's not reloading. All right, so he got run out the market. And the ES now finally breaking out. So this 2-try flag playing out. Never got the depth that I wanted, but hey. So gap fill potential now all the way up into here, into this line, into 8. Let's just call it 850. That's your gap fill potential. Asia session. All right, Asia session high. You're looking for a drive into 818. Failed breakout here and return lower is what you have to be cautious of. But so far this morning, we are holding Apple now 1% up again. Nvidia green, everything else red in the market. Remember, you got Powell talking in 7 minutes. All right, maybe after that we get a nice move together. Willa Williams, huge order on the book at ES at 60.76. Did I read that right? 60.76. Yeah, so that's on that high put in at 4 a.m. Big pivot there. Big supply up there from overnight. So basically midnight and then 4 a.m. It's visited that area twice. So someone looking to get filled up there. Still no close above the trend line on the ES. All right, still no close above it. It's really struggling there. It just traded into the higher time frame algorithm and got slammed. With a 2-try, do you need the second to go lower than the first? No, you don't have to have the second leg go lower than the first. That would just be more of a trap, right? So if the 2-try was like this and then a reclaim, that would be your trap. That would be ideal because then you get breakout shorts chased down here. It's just a different type of play. So 1, 2, it holds, doesn't let shorts chase in. That's the only difference. Oh, sorry. Trump speaking as well. Is he really? Let's have a look. We've got any news hitting the wire? I haven't seen anything yet from Trump. I saw lots overnight. Fed Hammock's been speaking this morning before the open. It's unclear how much 2024 rate cuts have factored into the economy. A rate hike is not my case base. The economy is in a good place. I mean, that's positive, at least. Vance sitting down with Commission President von der Leyen. Haven't seen anything from Trump yet, but maybe that's just me. Forex Factory. But have you seen what he said? I'm saying, James. Have you seen the comments rather than just knowing he's speaking? And that still cannot get a close above here on the ES. It cannot close above, which is interesting. SPY is. We've got divergence across the between the ETFs and the futures right now. Here comes some failures back into the flow zones. All right, so if we wash and reclaim, we're bullish from here up. If we stay heavy here on rotation, we're watching this demand. If we get break under here, stay heavy, we're thinking about a wash down into there. Everything we talked about pre-market is still on the table right now. So far, look at that anchor VWAP off the New York Open. Soaking so far. Very, very close to Powell talking. Buyer on the book, 276 lot on the book at 21,750. That's the biggest order. They have pulled their orders from 725, 7650. All right, they've pulled their orders from there. They're not expecting it to go lower right now. They're trying to support price action higher right now. 750, trying to support that price action higher. 750 would be VWAP, right? That would be your trade into VWAP. That would be a wash. These guys here into VWAP, a reclaim and go. Still sideways really this morning. Not much here. Our range on this morning session is only 105 points. And most of this range has been created in, what is this? Like 30 point range, I would say, pretty much since the opening 5-minute drive. No, Crawford, I have not taken a trade today. Not yet. Looking where those sellers are higher, 922K. Still on the book, up higher. We're still printing an inside day. All right, we're still printing an inside day. I don't like the look of this. This is, for me, is not something I want to be buying into. This is a build of liquidity. We are holding structure, absolutely, but I want to see a trap first before I really think about joining this. The only reason I want to see a trap is because of this squeeze and because we're building liquidity sideways. It's not like we're building liquidity like this, right? We're building liquidity sideways. I'd argue even slanted upside, which is really not ideal for buying continuation. But we are holding that anchored VWAP off the New York so far. 2 minutes until Mr. Powell starts testifying. I'm going to watch the book to see if they pull it. Where do I live? I live in Los Angeles. It's possible. It's possible that there is a draw of liquidity high. Remember, the gap fill is to here. Right, this is the cash gap. This is where ETF cash gap is filled. So we gap down overnight. ETF cash gap will be to here, drive through that, point of control, previous day high. It's all possible. We're just building liquidity right now. Right at the sort of top of Globex. If you look at Asia and London sessions, we haven't broken through them. On a 5 minute, we still have not had, let me make sure that's on a 5 minute. It's on a 10, Jesus. We still have not broken through, right? We've peaked through London. Didn't quite get to Asia, but there's no close above. We're building all volume here on the day now. 80, 85, like right here, and unsurprisingly, is your point of control in this session because we've been here all morning. Ryan, what are the benefits? It's just like if we've done a big move overnight, right, then your anchor is going to have to, your anchor would be more accurate into how the cash traders are trading. So anchored from here, you can see buyers' average price is here. Anchored overnight, sellers' average price was here. This was a squeeze through. Now you could say buyers' average price from a 24-hour time period is right here. So it's more just knowing who's in control on the time period or on the session that we're trading. I don't always do it, but when there's a big move in the morning, I will do it. Same way I'd do it from a pivot high or a pivot low. The ES is basing above its VWAP. It looks like it wants to squeeze higher. NQ wants to do the opposite. All right, so there is the clear out of the liquidity. Here is your new 10 a.m., new 1 hour, new 4 hour candle. There was your clear out of liquidity. Did we protect 750? You didn't even get filled on that rocket ship up higher. All right, so both sides now raided. We went sideways. We raided low side. We've raided high side. Just let this settle down, right? Your ATR is spiking huge right here. Let this settle down. Think about 4 hour candle. We're repricing that 4 hour candle. Wick to wick is what we just did. 820 wick to wick on that 4 hour candle. Yeah, it's just a new, it's traders come in off hourly sessions, right? So they're trading the new hourly bar. So remember, when we get to 10 a.m., you have a new 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute, or 3 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour bar. All right. So every time frame trader is trading that moment. The next time you have a moment like that is 2 o'clock when you get your new 4 hour print. So it's just traders trading around that moment. Plus Powell now set to talk. But liquidity will always come in on those 4 hour bars. Yeah, I agree, Coop. It's like 2 days in a row, isn't it? Where we've just had to wait. It's interesting that they didn't fill that 750. He didn't get filled at all. He was just on the tape there. He's still there on the tape. So 116 lot at 775 and then 128 lot at 750. So I think that's the same. It is the same guy. He's just split his order out now. All right, so there's one big guy here. And then when he didn't get filled, he split his order here and here now. So he's on the anchor and the original VWAP. He's looking to get a fill here probably to drift higher. Lots of you watching right now. Thanks so much. This stream's finally starting to grow day after day. Do me a favor, hit that like button. I'm here Monday to Friday from pre-market. We go over absolutely everything. So if you subscribe, put your notifications on Monday to Friday from pre-market all the way into lunch, sometimes beyond lunch. Yesterday I traded way beyond lunch. Doing the dance here. How much liquidity did we clear? We have now cleared all of Asia as well. And we've cleared all of Asia out. You can see it right here. So this morning, like I said, I don't want to short the lows. I would need a breakdown and retest to get heavy. We trapped, we squeezed. We took out London, we squeezed. This was a very fast move. No real deep back test for us to get involved in, unfortunately. But now we've cleared out Asia. So the next drive, if they can move higher, they will be looking for a gap fill. Gap fill will be all the way up into here. Yeah, futures can be wild. I mean, we're just in, since November, all right, it's just been a little bit nuts in the market, but we're actually just in a big range until it proves otherwise. But, you know, there's new leadership, lots of things moving the market right now, all right? So I'd say that's why it's a little bit wild. The whole market feels like that right now. And once we just settle down past Q1 and we know what's happening with the tariffs, and hopefully there's some form of resolution in the Middle East and in Ukraine and all these big questions that we've got over our heads right now, the market should settle down and hopefully we get a nice move. I don't care if it's a big bull run or you know, a couple of quarters failure. That I don't really care which way, but just nice to have some action. Where is the gap from? The gap's from overnight. We closed here, cash gap here on the ETFs. That's where we closed yesterday. Right, so a trade into that would fill the gap. And we have another gap down here. The new week opening gap would be here. So Sunday's open, Friday close, a gap in that. So back to the anchored VWAP. So big drive up, failure, back into anchored VWAP right now. It looks messy right now, honestly. So here's your 775 buyer. So you've got this same guy. I know it's the same guy because he moved his order. So he's at 775 and 750. Looking to absorb the tape here. Yeah, that would be a massive... Would it be a hassle to put times you took trades in the notes so when we look at your older videos, we can quickly find them? There's no way I'm going through my older videos putting times I trade in. I'm sorry, mate. This is for free as it is. There's just no way I can do that. I also have a life, right? So I want to trade, help you guys out as much as possible, and then get off the screens. While I appreciate that would help you loads, Douglas, it's not something I'm going to do. So anchored VWAP and VWAP right here. Buyer on both of these, like 100 plus lot on both of these. Yep, SPY coming down. Both of those are at their VWAPs right now. Market's looking like it might want to rotate lower, but again, we're still in that range. We're just in the range that we've been in for since 9:30. All right, so we've been there for like 40 minutes. Broke out, failure, failed to break out under here. This is the range in the session until proves otherwise. If we get a rotation, it will be clear. But again, much like yesterday, there's no big imbalances left, even in this candle. Flush down, straight back up, move back down in. It's not like we're leaving big volume. We're just trading sideways here. The key today is not pushing back buttons. SPY is starting to try and fill its imbalance of that engulfing candle that we moved out from this morning. So what it's trying to do, SPY is trying to see, like down here, are you buyers here for me to move up? Exactly what we would be looking for on the Qs if we wanted to trade higher. We'd want to reprice some of this, right? You'd want to reprice some of this. I do not feel comfortable buying this right now on the Qs. I feel like it would need a deeper wash to invite me in. I would not be surprised if we chop all day today. That's kind of what I was expecting yesterday. Best moves on the week should come tomorrow after CPI. Should come tomorrow after CPI. Being patient here. We will get a trade today. It will just take time. Very much like yesterday. The trade, in the end, it came, I think it was just before lunch, and you got that squeeze and drive up all through lunch and afterwards. It's just a question of being patient. Unfortunately, that's just how the market is sometimes. I cannot control the market. It might make for a boring stream sometimes, but I'd rather teach you how I trade, or at least explain it to you, than just like be punching buttons in. So 75, he just got filled. So 750 is the next level. The next level that they're looking to fill is the buyer at 750 into that VWAP. If they hold that, we can think about rotation. If they hold any of this level, we can think about, oh my gosh, this move here. What I don't like is we've already cleared this out, but we can maybe think about this kind of move here. If we start to fail and break down here, this becomes more probable. How we act down here is going to be absolutely pivotal. Apple, the only stock up today, 1.4% up. Everything else is red right now. Tesla, 2.3% down on the session. Nvidia, 0.3% down on the session. Microsoft, 0.2% down on the session. Google, 0.5% down on the session. Amazon, 0.15, and Microsoft, 0.15. So they're scrambling to try and go red to green. Is that trend like you have in just under the lower time frame algo? Yes, that is that blue line there, mate. Yeah, absolutely. So the algos are stacked the right way. You'd like this lower time frame algo to get through the higher time frame algo for continuation. Yeah, this structure is not lovely right here, right, to be a buyer. Right, it's swept once. This is just not inviting me in. Even though it's got a good chance to do gap fill here, it is not nice action. What is looking better is the ES. Very much like yesterday, the moves that ES are making are much, much better. That last sweep and pullback on the ES, it actually came and tapped the SPY previous day low. So in terms of like how it looks, looking way, way better over on the spiders today. Probably because tech, other than Apple, has been weak. Just chopping around here. Remember, you got Powell talking as well. Anyone know what time he's scheduled to finish? How long is he talking for today? Still no close above on the ES. Right, back to VWAP. SPY, back to VWAP. I can see what you're looking at, Ryan. It's a little early, I'd say. The danger is the sweep here, and it's very, very low time frame. Remember, we're squeezing up, and really it's trying to hold gains. It's just not building out very nice liquidity. We want liquidity built this way, not this way. This is more tapering, right? This is more tapering. It's struggling. So we're expecting something like this at some point for a back test. Unless something's said that really moves the market. So far, look at the blue line and the green line, right? Buyers from this session and overnight are in control. We've not let go of this for a rotation. I'm not really thinking about a short. I'm also not thinking about initiating a long right now. There's not something here I really like. Failure to break above 800 is definitely something. All right, 800's here. There's your failed break. Low-hanging fruit should be up here, but the structure of this is ugly. It's not making me think it's got the capability of doing it right now. So did all the shorts get blown out early in that opening drive up? No, have they trapped enough shorts to continue higher right now? All day for Powell, really, Peter? Oh, it's a bit of a no-no trade session then. ES holding its VWAP. SPY holding the VWAP. Up to trend line again. So they're trying to initiate squeeze again here on the spiders. Nvidia's trying to go green here. Microsoft and Amazon trying to go green. They're still not there. Still battling. Still don't like the way liquidity is being built here to the upside. It's very ugly in this channel. No way am I participating as a buyer. This can squeeze without me. It's absolutely fine. I know what I'm looking for. Not initiating buys right here. Even if it goes on a ripper, that's absolutely fine. Just like this morning. Just like yesterday. I'll leave everything alone until my setups come. I know we're absorbing off the flow zones here, but it's not pretty. Leo, sorry in advance if this sounds rude, but where did you learn to trade? Are you self, I think you mean taught there, or do you have a background degree? I have a degree in psychology, not in trading. But I'm 40. Well, 39, 40 this year. And yeah, I guess self-taught. Learned off lots of other people over many years. I think everyone's self-taught though, really, mate. I don't think there's no one I know has got a degree in trading. Even my friends at like Morgan Stanley and their own firms, they might have a degree in finance, but that's not making them pull the trigger. You're not going to go to uni and learn how to trade. You might learn economics. It's not going to teach you how to trade. Oh, nice, TR. Yeah, I did mine in sports psychology, so I was very specific, and my final piece was in like recovery from acute injuries. Basically, it's on early forms of PTSD in sport, effectively. But you might have seen me talk about it before. It's my belief that athletes do not make good traders. I mean, they can make good traders, but they struggle the most. People who with big competitive edge will struggle to trade because trading is very, very different to being on a sports field. You must not win at all costs. Right? You've got to be okay with losing. And that's just the truth of it. So it's a discipline game. Things like martial arts and stuff, probably better suited to trading because you need to know when you need to tap out or when you need to surrender or whatever. Things like playing American football, that Lombardian ethic of win at all costs, the worst thing possible for trading. Don't tell Jared Tendler that. I don't think he says athletes are good at trading, does he? Yeah, definitely. There's definitely PTSD in trading. That's why people who have bad habits struggle to shift it. And they have that fear of stopping out and accepting that loss. That's from big, big losses. The lady in Ted Lasso, the psychologist. So here's 800 on deck. It looks like it wants to keep squeezing. It's just really ugly. I'd like, no way am I buying this. And really, how much have we really moved? Here's your most of your range. How much have we really moved? Not that much, right? Small moves, right? The previous days, these we'd be moving, 200 plus points already in the session. We're stuck in a small range. If you take away that opening drive, right, really, we're trading from 70s to 12s. You're trading in 40-point range. That's it. If you take away that opening drive. We are stuck at the Asia high. We cannot get through the Asia high. Lots of volume starting to be built up here. It's not something that I want to long. Exactly, blown account. A highly competitive person is a recipe for revenge trading. That's exactly it. For oversizing, for not stopping out, all those things. So you've got something I talk about in the course, right? You have to reward yourself for process. So even if that means you take a losing trade, but you stuck to your process. That needs to be the dopamine hit. If the dopamine hit is the big win, then you're going to force that big win. Ryan, I think, yeah, a lot of it just conditioning, time on the charts, conditioning, taking those small losses, just constantly being okay. The more losses, I know it sounds stupid, but like the more losses you take, the easier it gets to take them. If you don't take losses, it gets very, very hard for people to take losses. Like if you just refuse to take a loss and you get away with the win, you'll just keep doing that over and over and over. All right, starting to try and base here, interestingly. Starting to try and base on this level. I still don't like it, but this is what it's trying to do. It's trying to get this gap fill up into here. It's trying to do this move right now. Like I said, it can go without me if it really wants today. Don't have high confidence looking at this chart right now. Not very attractive. When I first started 4 years ago, if I took a loss, I'd be out for 3 days. Yeah, that's the thing, right? What you're taking that big loss, mentally it can exhaust you. Ryan, you should post your fight in the Discord for the guys to see. It's pretty impressive. He goes for the takedown and just gets him straight away. It's so quick. Absolutely ruined him. You got one more fight left on that contract. Is that right, Ryan? I think that's right. Yeah. MMA. It wants this gap fill, all right? This is what it wants to do. It wants to fill this gap, and then if it can get through that previous day high up here and previous day point of control. Again, the way we are building liquidity is not good for bulls. This is not what you want to see. What you want to see is drives up and pull back, drive up and pull back. This is not a pullback, right? This is sideways messy. This is not something I'm going to trade. I would need a nice pullback. Doesn't mean it can't go higher. It does not mean that. It's just not a trade I like right now. Nice. That's awesome, Ryan. So buyers in the market, 787, 775. They're looking to absorb this drive down. Like I said, I don't like this as a buyer. I think this is very, very dangerous to be buying this. Not liking the look of this. Look at the 5 minute. Look at the wicks on the 5 minute. It doesn't look good. Technically, the 5 minute needs to hold into 86. Failure of that, you're going to come and flush everything out. They build too much volume up here and it's buying volume and they start letting it go. This can get a little nasty pretty quick. Remember the look of this. Remember how we like structure to be built. This is not how we like structure to be built, what we're seeing right here. ES back to VWAP again. SPY back to VWAP again. Qs. It's insane that Qs have relative strength when the market is red, but hey. Yeah, exactly, Ryan. It's one of the hardest things is to know when to pull the trigger and when not to pull the trigger. You'll see on stream, some days I'm very, very aggressive. I'm taking trades at the open. I'm looking for expansion. Those are normally days when I know either breakout traders are stuck or that we can have a drive into a key level that I'm looking for. So far, though, if you think about what we talked about in Discord, right, we're doing the rotation, aren't we? Here's the rotation. We're going to test this. Do sellers come in here for a rotation back down? We can get stuck here all day long if we want. If we get through this and hold this, then we go back into this supply block. If we get under this and we get stuck, then we drift back down and close this new week opening gap, which is hanging out there as well. All right, but right now, this is your range. Right, it's where buyers were stuck yesterday. Remember, we gapped down. That would be your gap fill into them. And the overnight low. This is the range. I'm not too fussed about trading this one. Definitely don't want to do buying the top of a range. Just like yesterday. We can think about yesterday. Again, this can go for the gap fill, but let's just quickly go back to yesterday. Where was it? Same play yesterday. Opening drive. Nuts. We built liquidity to the upside. Like I said, no nice pullback there. I'm not buying this. What did I say? I'm going to look for a sweep of these lows and to hold the structure here and to trap shorts in. Here it goes. Doom, doom, sweep of the lows. We took this buy all the way back up, right? This structure is buying continuation structure. That's your H1 flag. This structure is not buying continuation. It might look like it, but it isn't. It's just squeeze outs. Can just go without me today. If it's going to come up here, it's going to go without me unless it can offer me something like that. This was a decent hold here, but again, still in this range. Oh my God. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Don't need to go all the way back. Okay, let's go all the way back. We'll do that again. Apologies. So, very similar to yesterday. Here's the open yesterday. Opening drive. Straight up, right? There's a little bit of structure formed here, but this is straight up. You don't see this. So yesterday, when we were up here, what was I saying? There's no way I'm buying this near supply. I'm going to look for a sweep and then the buy for a return back in. Now, it didn't break out yesterday, but you got that move back up. That's much better risk reward. This just looks like a range rotational sort of squeeze up, trying to fill the gap. I don't see much of an entry model here. Like, this was a very quick sweep on the news, pull back in and hold. At best, you could have bought this, risking this down there. At best, looking for that. That's probably almost a 2-to-1, but it's not much there that I like. No nice imbalance to look at and play off. Volume's kind of washy. Structure-wise is just asking to come and slap these guys out. It's just not something I'm looking at right now. Would not surprise you to see a run of the Asia low. Yeah, exactly. It can easily do that. It can easily do that. Like, it feels, what it wants to do is come to here and here and here. Like, but the way it's getting there is the important thing, right? And that doesn't mean, look, this is just how I trade. That doesn't mean you have to trade the same way. If you like this structure, right? If you're okay with this, by all means take it. I'm not saying don't take it. But what I'm looking for is very set, like specific set of rules. I said it wants to go up there. It's just not offering me what I want to see to get involved. Doesn't mean you guys can't take it. We're going to have that initial balance set in 5 minutes. That IB, would not be surprised if that IB is right up against the gap fill. Make sure this is in the right spot here. Right here. Yeah, we're getting stuck. See these buyers here? This is where we're getting stuck right now. I can actually put that in as a box, but we should have done that for you. These buyers right now are the guys selling. They're trying to get out, break even. Through that, think about these guys. Let me see this guy up here. Clean this up a bit, sorry. That's kind of what we're looking at. You're banging up against those buyers who are stuck from yesterday, right? Those guys that bought the dips yesterday. The dip that we bought, actually, it's the same dip. That's what we're trading into right now. Exactly what we're trading into. So those buyers, do they become sellers? If they don't become sellers, if they're already out, then we can go drift further and keep going higher. Just replicating everything I just did there on my ninja chart. It's the worst thing about this is having to do it on 2 charts all the time. The gap fill very, very close now. It's crazy, isn't it? Best buy was literally the first second of the open this morning. Initial balance going to be set in like just over a minute and 20, and it's probably going to be right up here into the key level, which is funny because it's going to allow really good auction and failed auctions at those levels. Those are big, big levels. QQQ close to closing the gap. SPY, I think, has just closed its gap. No, it hasn't. It needs to trade further up. Sorry, SPY's got to trade up to 604.80s. So gap fill here, cash gap into here on the QQQ. SPY with a little bit further to go. All right, it's lagging a little bit behind here, but it's not too far. That trade on ES would be up into 88.75. All right, if you're looking to close the gap. If you're long in this and you're looking to close the gap, that's where you're trading into. Just so ugly the way it's got there. So ugly. This yellow line. Through that previous day point of control, let's get this nice and accurate right here. Right, this is where most of the volume was traded yesterday at previous day point of control. Through that, we're looking at that 900 level. Right, previous day high 900. And we failed to break out of that yesterday. We're just returning all the way upside here in the New York session, all the way back to where we closed yesterday. So there's your IB. Like I said, they printed it right on the closure, right on yesterday's cash gap close. Jesus Christ. Sorry, guys. So now we're thinking about failed auction theories. Failed auction would be a drive and a failure inside, and then a sweep of all these, which would not surprise me one bit. Right, it would not surprise me if it did something like this today. An auction theory would be a base above, hold this for that drive up. Previous day high would be the low hanging fruit if it's going to do that. PDC and previous day high if it's going to do that. One thing I'm looking at is the gap on the ES has not been closed. Once that's closed, kind of feels more viable for a failed auction if and when they close it. Still possibly for right now for a long to go higher up into 900s. So that IB play for continuation to see how it acts. That IB high is your cash gap. All right, that yellow line is your cash gap. That's previous day close. Starting to build out nicer structure here now. Everything's starting to go green now. Apple 2.4% up. Microsoft dancing red to green. Amazon trying to do the same. Google's gone green just about. So everything closing the gap. When you see everything going like red to green and hovering there, everything is starting to close the gap. Right? All the Mag 7 are starting to close the gap. The only one which is not doing that is Tesla. Crawford, no, it's part of the flow zone indicator. Yeah, it's part of this. Every way I trade is built into this indicator. All right, it just saves you the initial balance, the cash gaps, everything's built in. Saves you time and effort and making mistakes. It's all done automatically. Very easily drift higher here. There's an order on the book at 900. That's where they want to take it. If they can hold above the initial balance, if they can hold above the initial balance, they will want to take it to 900. Remember, the buy stops right now at 85 and 60. A failed auction will probably come and take these guys out the game. If it can sustain a bid, it wants to do this. A failed auction will be this all the way back down. Oh, don't do that. There we go. The ES has not closed its gap. Long way to go on the ES. Yeah, like a failed auction is possible. The only thing I don't like about the failed auction right now is that ES hasn't closed its gap. If ES had closed the gap, I'd say it's like would be a more probable trade. But Qs have closed the gap. You can see that yellow line. That was the draw. It's where it wanted to go into. ES basically, I guess, wants to get like up into. We'd have to get up into here, basically. I'd say on the ES. So seller here 850, 100 lot. Another long 100 lot at 900. No, TR, because your stats will need to be, I'll give you some edge here, will need to be on how big that gap is. I'm not saying more than that. How big that gap is will give you more of a probability if it can be filled. Yeah. Break and retest of IB. Like above. Yeah, if you can get a flag above something like this, can maybe go. Again, I've got one eye on the ES, Ryan, because ES has not filled its gap. So ES has a draw of liquidity higher. But what I would say is all of these guys are kind of like asking to get wrecked a little bit. But for me, it feels like just because ES hasn't closed the gap that something like this is possible. And then once it does that, who knows? But right now, we can't get above that initial balance. So 5-minute chart can come like way back down here if it wants as well to reprice. It really can. Can give a deep wash here on the 5-minute. Maybe down into like 15s or 16s. If it lets go of that, it can go way deeper. Right, so this was your flag that we broke out from. If we start breaking down under here, we'd probably go for this. If we hold this, we'd probably make that return in. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The problem is it's left so much liquidity down there, it might want to go and clean it all up. I feel like a slam back down is very, very possible here for that failed auction. There you go. So watching this short now, if they start letting go or not is basically the key. What we just literally just talked about it, right? This guy here, if we start letting go of this, these stocks probably start to get annihilated. If they hold this and return in, they probably get a squeeze out to the upside. Yes, it's trying to build a 5-minute flag. It's got another 3 minutes on the 5-minute. Yeah, another 3 minutes left to do it. There you go. It's trying. desperately trying to do this. Make or break here. So it's trying to reprice the 5-minute to go higher. Volume's still way, way lower. They haven't built up too much here. It's still holding the flow zones. It's still holding this imbalance. It's still holding these guys here. All right, so this structure here, it's still bullish, trying to get higher. It's trying to get up into this right now. ES is trying to break out of the high of day right now. If it can't break out, if it gives a failed breakout, it will give that wash. Those are the plays. Those are always the plays. A failed breakout will give a wash. All depends who's trapped here. That's what it always depends, to be honest. It always depends who's trapped. Right, can it hold this to go higher? Failure under this and get stuck. We come and take all these guys out probably. ES so far cannot get that flag break above the IB high. It's got another 1.5 minutes left on this 5-minute bar on the ES. All right, if it breaks upside, it will close the gap on ES. It will drive. If it breaks upside, it's going to look for a drive to 88s. Right, that's what the ES wants to do. If it does that, it will drag the Qs higher with it. We'd probably get a move into here and to here, right? Through here, then the next target will be supply and then previous day high. Then above here, oh, what the hell is that? We go above here, we go into the next block. I will remind you though, we are in a range rotational market right now. We are not in a breakout market. Zoom out. Make sure you're zooming out. Look at the daily. Still in an inside bar so far. Doesn't mean it can't go higher, but so far we're still in an inside bar. Possibly, Ryan, yeah. Like, that's what I'd prefer. So basically, if we did this and ES filled the gap and then we came back down into this, then I really like this move. Yeah, so ES is trying to fill its gap. That's the one thing I'm looking at. How does ES react once it fills its gap? Do I think there are guys holding long positions from 700? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, totally. I would be. Like, if I was long, like if we got that return back in here this morning to get long instead of this push up, I would be long. So definitely they got long here. They're looking for return in. They'll sell some partial for the gap fill and then they'll hold some for if the market goes higher. They won't be adding up here for sure though. Not that what they will be doing. So ES cleared out IB high. How does it act here now? Right, it's pulling back into IB high. Does the ES hold its IB high? Can it close its gap higher, or is there going to be a failed auction? Yeah, exactly. Definitely people long from the open. Definitely. Like we said, the one thing we said at the open, do not get short in the hole down there. So like the easiest way to get trapped, if you don't understand supply and demand and you got short down there, you got absolutely cooked. There was no reason to get short down there. It would have to fail, come back, stay heavy, and then we would take it lower. Yes, desperate to close its gap right now. It really wants to get up into 88, 89-ish, that kind of level. Yeah, like it's possible it happen at lunch, possible it happens sooner. Possible they don't do it at all. Like, possible they leave it for tomorrow on CPI. That's also possible. A lot of the times coming into CPI, we leave tons of liquidity to go and look at the next day. So most of the market has closed its gap other than Tesla, right? That's the only mag that hasn't. So seller at 850 and then 900. Buyers all the way down at 775, right? All the liquidity is down at 775. ES trying to base on its IB high. It's doing everything it can to hold this IB high for a squeeze up to 88. lucky day for me. It's okay. I've had a really, really, really good month. No trades so far in this session, just waiting. Doing a good job of holding its IB high so far. Can it get up for that gap close? Can it do it? Market just a real mixed bag. All right, we can have a look at it. Not much green on here, is it? Most of it flat or red. All right, it's not like we're in a big bullish day so far. Most of the market just trying to close its gap so far. That's why there's so much gray on that screen. Gray is basically flat. Apple, the big winner today. Off that Alibaba news, which came, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes before the open. That's what's dragging the market upside right now. Two days in a row, it's been a bit of a more of a boring morning. But I think tomorrow we're going to get some fireworks, honestly. I said it last week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week is where we're going to get the fun happen. As long as that CPI print doesn't come out like exactly in line and priced in, which I don't think it's priced in. I think we've had so many eyes on so many other factors right now. Any cool print or any hot print should move that market tomorrow. And we've been in a range for so long, it wouldn't be surprised me if we're ready to expand. We are definitely in squeeze territory on the daily. The Bollinger Bands are starting to come in. I reckon if you put like a TTM squeeze indicator or something on, it would be telling you from a stochastic point of view and Bollinger Bands, we are getting ready to squeeze on the market. Here we go. ES trying to drive upside for the gap fill. We are trying to get up to previous day point of control. We are auctioning now above the initial balance. Here is your flag. It's trying to hold. It wants to go previous day point of control, something like this. And if it gets through it, into previous day high. That's what it wants to do. ES now going. All right, so ES at 85s now. Remember, 88 or 89-ish, let's have a little look, is the gap close. 88.75, all right, is the gap close on ES. That's the low-hanging fruit. If it gets through that, it's looking for previous day high into 96. Here goes the market then. So we are in a confirmed auction so far for a move higher. All longs paying so far this morning. So here's previous day point of control. Expect a little bit of a bumpy road into this. This is where most of the volume was created, into and around here. Maybe a tiny bit above. I might have that a little bit low. Yeah, around here. ES very, very, very close to filling that gap. No reason to short. There's been absolutely no short. Flow zones are saying upside. We're above the initial balance. The short will become obvious if it even comes at all. Do not guess the tops. Almost there on the ES. 87.25s. 87.75 current high of day. Just another point. It needs to do another point and it's closed the gap. Remember, other than time decay, if you'd taken swing puts overnight, you'd now be out like flat basically. Any short swings overnight, you took that close in the ETFs, they're flat now in this position. If they get taken out and cause buy orders, then we probably go up to previous day high here. Very, very close there on ES. think SPY actually closed its gap and ES didn't there. By a tick. I think we missed it by a tick. ET850, ET875. Yeah, one tick away from closing the gap on ES on the current higher day. Remember, if we sustain bids here, we're going to look for higher prices. It's going to try and go through previous day point of control and then up to 900s, which is basically previous day high. A breakout of previous day high. Let's think what we can do there. That would be a double breakout. Previous day high would be looking for a move into 970s, 975s. That's a double top there. That's a big run on liquidity. If we get through that, I expect a decent short squeeze. Oh. Nvidia now green, Meta green, Apple green, Microsoft still red, but dancing at its opening close price. Or yesterday's close price. Amazon pulling back a little bit, just under 1/3% green, quarter percent red. Sorry, Tesla 2% down. Meta and Google just about green on the session. Here goes ES again. Just wants to get that full gap fill. SPY has filled the gap. ES has not quite done it yet. Remember, 88.75 is the gap fill on the ES. Tick away. Should just do it. SPY's traded through it. It's already done the move. The ETFs have done the move. Should not be struggling that much here. There you go. ES now closed the gap. So the next target for the upside, we're at that previous day point of control right here. It's where all volume was traded. Trade through this. We're going to look for a run up into here. If we trade through this, we're going to look for a run up into this level here. So 900, stop run here, 900 if we hold, keep going up. If we fail here, look, we're getting a reaction here of previous day point of control. If we fail here and ES fails here, you have to be very, very patient for the short. You do not want to guess the top because it might not come at all. We can just keep moving higher. If shorts are stuck in this market yet again, which they have been at the open yet again, which has made it a little harder to trade, no deep pullbacks, which is what I like to play, then we can keep drifting higher. Remember, if shorts keep going, add, we just keep drifting higher without any deep pullback. Nice, Ryan. Good work. It just feels like that previous day high is the low-hanging fruit now. It just depends how ES acts here. Now it's closed the gap. So watching the IB now, right? Pullbacks into IB. Do they hold? If they don't hold, then we get a failed auction. Previous day point of control so far is the high of day, that volume node up there. We build liquidity up here, then we probably build a giant right shoulder, and then we're probably going to squeeze higher. Nice, Crawford. Good work. Yeah, good work. Just hold on to it. If we can get through here or we can build out liquidity here, it's got a chance of getting up here. So far, we're auctioning up. Hasn't pulled back to backtest this. Remember, this is where we broke out from. We'd expect some pullback to go higher. If that pullback fails, then we're going lower. Same thing as always. But right now, we are in trend up. Flow zones are in trend up. Multi-time frame up. This is the next target. This is where volume was yesterday. It's why it's previous day point of control. This orange line, it's the biggest volume from yesterday's session is up here. Here is your pullback. Does it come and back test IB high? Yeah, Peter, I'm the same. I haven't taken anything yet either. If we hold the IB, I'm not against a long. If we let go of the IB and start to wash down, I'm not against taking a short. I think there's lots of liquidity to aim for. I think there's a rotation in this H1 bar. Remember, we've got 7 minutes left or so. We can come all the way back down to 800 if it wanted to. Apple really dragging this market up. 3% up now on the day on Apple. Remember, that's the biggest weight in the whole market. In both markets, Apple has the biggest weight. So NQ only up by 0.1%, but Apple up 3%. Relative strength. All of that news with bar. This is going for that previous day high here. Right, we're going up here. Can't be buying late here. Remember, there's supply up here that we created yesterday. Must look left. Red line is where it wants to move to. That's where it wants to move to, that previous day high. I would love one good pullback into the IB, into where we broke out from before we get in there. It's just short, it's just stuck. This was a nice play here. I would love this to then go up and then hold a runner. And if we fail, I don't mind doing this and this for a rotation. If we're going to stay in the range, that'll be the rotation. We're going to break out. We're going to break out above previous day high, and we're going to look for those double tops up here on the daily. If we break out from here, we're looking for this. If we fail breakout from here, we're going to think about a rotation. Would love to get a trade in today if it will let me. Feels very, very similar to yesterday. Waiting all session patiently. I don't mind though, sometimes I get frustrated, but days like this I just think it's okay because I'm sticking to my rules and I'm going to reward myself for being process-based, even if that means it ends up being a no-trade day. So here's the wash. How we act at the initial balance high will be key. Remember, ES has gone a long, long way above its IB compared to us. Right, so do we reprice where we broke out from? Do we hold this? Failure of this is an issue. New hourly coming hourly candle coming in under 4 minutes. There's the heaviness. Now, how we act here is really, really key. Is sweeping out the people at the very, very top who chased. We got stuck at previous day point of control. We created some liquidity here. This is where the buyers came in for that last move. How we act here in this RBS kind of zone is key. If we soak this, we can go higher. If we fail this, we're thinking about that failed auction and come and clean out all these stops down here. So there's still 2 plays on deck here. We have a new hourly candle coming as well. What I want to be careful of is if the hourly candle's here and it wants to sweep and then fail on the new hourly print. How long we got? 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. Right, trading back to the IB here. These are the key levels. They either soak these levels or they start letting them go. Remember, we have a new hourly print coming. We're still in uptrend. Everything is saying higher right now. We got stuck at previous day point of control. If we can hold the initial balance, if we hold this engulfing candle, this kind of structure here, we're good. If we get down into here, you know what this looks like. You know where your risk is. You know where we want to go. Do me a favor, hit that like button. So many of you watching this stream haven't hit that like button yet. It costs you absolutely nothing. Eyeing something up here. Either way, I don't mind which way, just eyeing it up. If ES is going to let go deep into VWAP, into IB high, we might let go much deeper on the NQ. How does this new hourly candle go? 1 more minute left. So it's a good pullback here into the IB. Here is the key level, right? This is the key level. We were talking about it. If they start to fail this key level, it's going to be a problem for the market. We're going to wash aggressively. If we soak this key level, we're going to go back towards the highs created. Remember, we're still in uptrend. If we fail this key level and fail the auction, we're looking at VWAP and anchored VWAP down here. Really, really eyeing this up now. This is a back test of where demand was, lower time frame demand and the IB high. This is key for what we do next. This is absolutely key. We can definitely, if it gets weak, we can definitely wash all that trend line, all that squeeze that we did up. We can definitely wash. If it gets weak, you will not need to front run this. If the opening hour wants to come and sweep the previous hour highs, it will come straight up through here. Then it will either fail or it will keep going for this level. Here's your new hourly candle. So everything's starting to play out now like we talked about. These are the key levels. Here's your new hourly candle. Does the IB hold? Do they fail it? ES might want to come back down to its IB high. It's got a long way to go to get down to its IB high. We are still holding here. Remember, this is previous day close. So we close the gap. There's a bit of an auction above. If we keep getting stuck here, this becomes more and more probable. At least to this level. And then these guys down here, right? Looking good here. Let it build out. Do not need to front run this. Yeah, exactly. Don't short on the way up. Let it prove itself. I'm watching the hourly, like really, really watching this hourly. Hourly can rebalance if it's ready down to 808. My favorite drum machine, down to 808. Here we go. So can we get failure here? Is ES going to go back down to its IB high? Are we going to start washing in this market, or are they just going to reabsorb where buyers came in earlier? All right, are they going to reabsorb? Are they going to build this out and this out for continuation? Or are they going to reabsorb to go higher? H1 often likes to sweep the previous H1. That's the one thing I've got in my mind here, just to be careful. But I think we're going to go lower here. I think we're ready. I need a pop and a fail, and it might be ready. If it doesn't fail, though, won't be touching it. Who is blowing up my phone? Eyeing up the short continuation here, if it will offer it. if it starts to break structure, if we can really start to stuff under here. What I'm going to be careful of is that IB trade on the ES, because it's still printing above its IB. So we have divergence in terms of positioning versus the initial balance. Hopefully that makes sense. And the target for the upside, if it still wants to go, this is the thing, ES still wants to go, is all the way up here. So this will need pop and fail. You'll need some form of structure here and then a breakdown to think about an entry. Otherwise, this pool here can absorb for this move. It can still absorb for that move. Still no entry yet. Really needs to stay heavy, like sort of versus these levels. Reclaim of this, I like it less and less and less. So I want to see it get up here, build some structure and fail if I'm thinking about lower. If it starts to reclaim, we can, of course, we can think about higher if it starts to reclaim. Last push was pretty good. Where do we get into? Starting to look good here for a bear flag. Starting to attack this now. Can we get a break of structure and a wash here? Lovely. I want to see this really just drive lower violently now. There we go. Thank you. Okay, can we start to expand? I'd like to see expansion through the 20s now. Need to see expansion through the 20s. That sort of head and shoulder look. Can please, whoever is like bombarding my phone from England, piss off. Honestly, airplane mode. Just so annoying. Okay, looking for pops to fail here. Reclaims, I'm not interested in. All right, you need pops to fail here for backside. It's still very early. This is an initial balance trade for a move back to here. All right, it's very early, but we're looking to use this liquidity. Any reclaim of this, not interested in taking shorts. All right, any reclaim of that, no interest in taking the shorts. ES starting to give us that look as well. It needs to just break down though. If it won't break down violently, I start to lack confidence in the trade. It should just come and at least come and take out 25, and then how we act there becomes key, or 24, I think I said. Here we go. Here we go, team. So can we trade under 24 and then start washing down into those VWAPs? Remember, we're looking for a trade down. Oh, we would like it to break this and stay heavy versus this for a trade down into this pool here. If we get heavy here, we can think about these guys. Any trade like this is shorts off the table, because then it's trapping to go upside. Right, so any reclaim of these levels up here, I can't draw it. These levels here is off the table, right? This is the trap then. Normally the trap would come under here. So I just want to be very careful in these areas up here. No shorts at that point. Remember, this is an initial balance trade. This is not a trend trade. Trend is higher. Reclaim this, we go higher. That's a stopping out there, break even. So I managed to get one off. Can always re-attack if we build out liquidity. Remember, we need it to build liquidity out sort of like this. Reclaiming this, no good. Then we're going to go higher if we do that. Yes, looking very strong here on this last shove up. Didn't even get to its IB. This is the tough thing right now in this market. ES has filled the gap and is printing. Right, ES is up here right now. So its IB's here. ES has done this. It's holding up here. That's why this is hard. If they were both beneath the IB, it would be a much easier trade, but we've got divergence. Unimart, I use the initial balance all day. I don't mind re-entering this if it's going to show weakness here. ES looking very strong. Remember, this is counter trend. This is initial balance trade. This is not pro trend higher. This is the hardest trade that you can take in the book, is the counter trend trade. All right, just to make that like super clear. This is not a pro trend trade. These are hard trades. $900 seller still on the book up there trying to drag it up. ES still trying to curl. Need ES to do a push and a fail here for NQ to like want to follow suit. $800 on the book. There's a buyer down at 800 and 825 trying to support the bid. Can we get the bear flag and break down here? If not, the reclaim will be like this. If they trap too many shorts in here and it gets too messy in here, they're just going to squeeze everyone out. Again, ES, the big problem right now is ES. It's the big problem. And market might want to do previous day high. If this breaks down, I'll rejoin. Here we go. Come on. Do it this time. No more trapping. Nice. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Not ready. What I don't like is all these stops being created here now. These flat tops here. Even to go lower, it might need to do this, which I don't love. Because opening up, this can trigger a squeeze as well. So structurally, it's starting to look a bit naughty. Yep, exactly. Apple's been holding the market up all day off the bar news before the open. Exactly that. Exactly that. Yes, with very, very strong here above the initial balance. We can still break down here if it's ready. $55s. Amazon's starting to give back. Google's starting to give back. Most of these starting to give back. Just got to wait here. I'm flat right now. I'm just waiting. I scalped out that first one. Yeah, I had a go, mate. I scalped some out and then took the rest break even on that drive out. I called it when I said break even here. If it's going to let go now, I'll think about it. Let's go. I'm thinking about it. I'm being very careful. If it sweeps this and turns inside, then very, very, very careful. If it stays heavy, right, under here, if it builds something out and stays heavy under here, we get this move into this pool down here. And like I keep saying, any reclaim of this, I do not like it short if it reclaims. The longer it's here, the worse as well, because it's just going to build more and more and more liquidity into the market. What's also not ideal is VIX is just dripping lower. All right, VIX testing towards low of day. That's not really what you want to see. I want to see VIX like on a bit of a turn higher here. But let's just watch the NQ here to see if it does let go. Liquidity on the tape down at 800. All right, big orders down at 800, 875. Looking for this bear flag to take it lower. That's what I'd like. It will confirm if it stays heavy underneath 24. That's when it would confirm. Otherwise, there's Very, very, very early in this. Can still hold this from a structural point of view. Buyers were here, broke out. This can be a retest, but if we stay heavy, this is the initial balance trade. It's just an IB trade, right? It's not a trend trade. Different type of trade setup. Watching here. ES just not playing bull right now. NQ wants to let go, and ES is not playing bull right now. I think we're getting close. Here we go. Sellers coming in here. Can they force it? Don't want them to get stuck. If they start getting aggressive here and we drift higher, it's going to be a problem. Because this can still be counter trend on an H1 for a new flag. What we're looking for is a drift down into 805, 808, 805, something like that. If we can get underneath 824s. If we sweep 824 and come back inside, I'm not touching this at that point. I'll just take the trade off. Then I know it's looking for a trap to go higher. I'm looking for this sort of counter trend initial balance trade into the pool of liquidity, and then I'll wait and see if buyers come back in the tape, and I can always think about taking it back up. But first of all, it's got to do something. Can't just bounce around in a 7-point range, which is what it's currently doing. Need it to do something. Need to build the liquidity and let go. Don't like the look of VIX here at all. VIX looks like a bear flag breaking down on a 10-minute. I do not like the look of that. And got no confluence. VIX breaks down here. ES will go back to the highs, and we're going to go back to the highs on the market. So I'm not taking a trade right now. Seeing VIX like that does not give me confidence. If VIX turns, whole different ball game. On a lower time frame here. VIX drifting lower. New lower day coming on VIX. New high day should come then on the ES. So no trade here for that short. It might just base out. Again, ES is above its initial balance high. It is in an auction higher phase. The NQ is beneath its initial balance high. Right? It is in a failed auction phase. We have no alignment in these markets right now. It's really, really, really hard. Can this market offer something? Is this the breakdown coming? All right, taking this very, very, very small size in case we just sweep 24 and come straight back up, and I'm already break even on this. Not going to give this a chance to wreck me. Here we go. So can we get this melt? There's the 24 sweep. If it stays heavy here, we're good. If it turns back inside, no bueno. Just into the deep pullbacks. Any turn back inside, and I'm out. Already in the money. Yeah, I'm out here, and I'll wait. I'll wait here now, because what I don't like is if we're going to do that. Right? If this was to lure breakout shorts in and we don't stay heavy, this becomes more and more probable. Very much like yesterday. We haven't gone as deep, but it's the same kind of trade. Remember yesterday I said I want to get long underneath something. There you go. So that was the bear trap underneath that. This is why I was saying must take profits and be careful into here. If they start reclaiming this, a slingshot higher becomes more and more probable. If they stay heavy here, maybe they have one more attempt. I'm not in this now, though. Yeah, volume stepped in there. It's tricky because I want to take this for a breakdown, but VIX is trading by a low of day. ES is looking like it wants to have a pop at high of day. It's like... It's tempting. It is tempting. Stick to your rules. So just bouncing between the deep pullback and the flow zones. The confirmed short, right, will be when if flow zones and deep pullback get like a nice flip and a move down. So far, we're sweeping, holding, and drifting up. Short stops are all here. If we get above this, the squeeze comes. We can build out another micro bear flag. I will consider it, which is what it's trying to do here. I will consider it. What's on the book? 800. Still think they want to drift down to at least 800, but structurally, it is problematic here. Look at the ES. ES is building that curl to have another attempt higher here. VIX is trading down by its low of day. This is not giving me good confidence for a move lower right now. So just risk off right now, just waiting. Two days in a row, pretty boring. Pretty boring. Potential squeeze here then. VIX breaking lower day now, coming back down to previous day close. Can trade down to previous day low if it really wants on the VIX. ES trying to have a go at a new higher day. Possible squeeze setup coming here if it can break above here and hold for sustained bids. All right, and then we're going to go 900 and previous day high if it can do that. Yeah, 5 minutes did get tagged for that sweep underneath right in here. That was the 5 minute in here. Not against taking this long if I feel good about it, but it's just a little bit messy. Flipping this as well was not good. That. What is going on with these flow zones today? The flip is that. How do I refresh charts here, team? I forget how to do it. Is it just down here? Reset? Nope. Anyone know how to do it? I forget how to do a refresh. On the tab. What tab? On the right? When you say the tab, where do you mean? Like here? I don't know where you mean on the app. You're just saying tab. Yeah, but something's going on with TradingView. That's why I need to refresh it. The tab of the chart. All right, let's save that first then. Hang on. Hey, there we go. Thank you, team. Thank you, team. Appreciate you guys. All right, potential squeeze on here then. Oh my God, VIX is absolutely dumping. So it's just two things I need to consider. Is there a failure point up here? 50%, 60. Is there an imbalance there for it to look at? There is on a 5-minute. On a 5-minute, we had this pullback candle. So if we flip that, then very, very bullish. If we stay heavy on that, it could be a clear out of stops. Watching the VIX. Was that the clear out? VIX still just absolutely melting. Like ES and VIX are going to make our day a bloody nightmare today. I can already tell. I can already tell. They've already made it a pain all morning, and they're going to make it a pain again. VIX trying to curl. We did get stuck at the IB high again here, though. VIX just keeps printing lower. It's going for its previous day low here. Jesus. Can't be thinking short all the time we're doing this. Right, do you know what I'm going to go and do? Because this is annoying me. I'm just going to get a bit of food and I'll be right back. And hopefully, oh my, if this dumps without me, I'm going to absolutely go nuts. I'm just watching the tape because I'm now wondering if that was a clear out enough. Okay, I'm going to get food. I'll be right back. Give myself a minute here. Okay. No change. ES still trying to grind higher. VIX underneath previous day close, trading near previous day low. Either or possible here. Does feel like that last push was for a failure. Honestly, it feels like this was a clear out for this now to move down. Right. Looking at this to have a stab here. If it's going to go, I want to participate. If it's not going to go, I probably won't get another trade here. Let's see if we break down. Again, that old sweep level is going to be key. Watching for a move into sort of 805, 790s if it's going to do it. If it's going to do it. Need VIX to start bouncing here. If it's not going to do it, not going to have an entry here at all. I'm just going to sit here and eat my food and be another day of doing absolutely bugger all on stream, which is not ideal, is it? So if they protect this, it's a problem. Long above here. If we defend this or defend this short, long's really good above here. That's like a full turnaround. Here we go. Come on. Come to Papa. Let's go. Finally. Let's go. No more sweeps. Fucking dump that shit, man. Enough. Enough of the games today. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. 808, 805. Ideally into this view up would be really nice. What we don't want is a sweep and a turn inside. We're looking for this into here and here. And if it can build out under here, even better. To stalk the prey. I mean, the way I'm drawing it is not making the market move. I'm showing you how it will move. What a weird thing to say. Obviously, I don't think my drawings are making the market move. But they definitely move. It definitely moves based on liquidity and stop. So, yeah, I do. Otherwise, I'd be wrong every day I'm here. VIX reclaiming now. VIX reclaiming previous day close. Want to see if VIX can start to trade upside here. It needs to trade all the way up towards 16. Market needs to stay heavy versus these same levels. All right, what you do not want is a sweep and a drive in. You want this to stay heavy versus this. It's already cleared out this. If it reclaims, it's going to clear out these stops yet again. Must stay heavy in here for a drive down to anchored view up and all this liquidity. Low hanging fruit down here. It needs the ES and the VIX start playing the same way. Come on. Let's just start melting here. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's go. Looking for 808, 805, and then into these. So 805, 808 here, anchor. 805 is the H1 pivot. 800 on the book. Big buyer at 800 on the book. Taking partials, each of these move down. VIX needs to reclaim that last breakdown on the bear flag. 1585, trade up to 1596. Break out of that on the VIX. It looks good. I don't want to see VIX stay heavy here. Do not want to see the VIX stay heavy here. ES has still got that trade into initial balance in its 5-day. Still basing above it. What you don't want to see on ES is a 2-leg here and a soak. All right, so ES looks very, very different right now. You do not want to see ES do this because it's up here right now. They are very different traders right now. Remember, ES above IB high can still have trend day higher. Its main obligation, though, was to fill the gap, which it's done. If it's going to go back upside, it's going to go for previous day high. We would need to reclaim this level here. You'd need these shorts to be stuck in the market, reclaim this for that upside move. And we're looking for a tag into these. I've already been covering in these moves down. Waiting for lower prices right now. If it doesn't come, that's all right. I'll take the stop. Let it come back to IB high and previous day close, and then see. If we're going to initiate a squeeze above that, that's fine. But we're running out of time. It's the main thing. We are running out of time in this session. It's messed about too much. Looking good. Come on. Come on. Liquidity on the BIC here. 815, 810, 805, 800. They're stacking it down there. Like 250, 300 lots there stacked down there, looking to try and get filled to support the bid. Question is, do they wash down to fill them or not? Do not want to be short in the hole here. Need it to wash. Otherwise, I'll just take my stop and take my money. Again, I'm very, very aware of what the ES is doing. We went right to that imbalance on the 5 minutes as well, filled the whole thing. So it's a bit iffy. You just see that now. That tag into 15 was a full fill. So I'm glad I got some off there. So if they start squeezing this, we know what we're looking at. Above here, 1, 2, pivot, especially if it reclaims this, higher prices for the rest of the day. Remember, ES has not come beneath this. It is trading like this right now. Or a better shape would be ES is doing this right now. All right, so if it reclaims up here, it squeezes. Way, way stronger in terms of where it's positioned versus the initial balance. Remember, these trades we were taking, they are initial balance trades. They are not trend trades. We're trying to get down into the VWAPs. They're counter trend, but they're playing the edges of the IB for breakdowns. Very, very different to trend trading. They're two different setups. Don't get them confused. They're totally different setups. They're trying to defend. Shorts are desperately trying to defend that initial balance. Hardest thing about this is the VIX and the ES right now. That's the hardest thing about this. I want to be careful if it builds this. So far, we look good. They're defending that, aggressively defending that IB right now. ES looks like it wants to break down and attack its IB high. Remember, ES has not got to its IB high yet. Still look good here. Looking very good here. Come on, ES. Let's go. Let that thing go. VIX starting to turn as well to the upside, which is what we want to see. We want to see VIX rip through 1590, fill that little gap, get through 1596 to the upside. No worries, Ryan. Have a good training session, dude. Yeah, I've locked some in anyway, so whatever happens, I'm good. I don't even mind taking the long if it sets up as well. I don't mind playing this both ways. Diving in short on gold. I haven't even looked at gold today. Let me have a quick look. Rejecting VWAP there. Sitting on its IB right now. Doesn't look too dissimilar to this chart here, other than the VWAP above it, which is a bit weird. But gold set new highs yesterday, didn't it? With those tariffs coming in on aluminium and steel. Okay, potential squeeze here. I've flattened this position now. Locked in that money for that last drive down. Want to be risk off, can always re-enter. This is the thing, can always re-enter. And I want to be risk off so that if we're going to go to the squeeze position, I can join that as well if I need to. Still think it should go lower, but doesn't want to. ES very, very, very strong. Look at the difference in ES. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's above, right? It's above its initial balance. 1, 2, if it can pivot, it can do that on the ES. This is why I'm very, very cautious watching both of them right now. They are looking very, very different. Shorts trying to defend the IB high on the NQ. Bulls trying to defend the IB high on the ES. Very, very different charts right now. Oh, big sell in the VIX there. Squeeze probably coming here. What a messy market this morning. How many points did I get out of that? 35, 20 points. That's so bad, man. That's all the market's giving right now. Apple, yeah, Apple breaking out 3.27% up on the day, 7.4 points up on the day. It's having a day. It is having a day off that news with Bar. Where can it trade up to? Well, it's breaking out of 333s. Got liquidity at 336.62. If it trades through that, it starts to get a bit thicker above that into supply. What was the Bar news? I didn't even actually see it. I know they're partnering, but what was the actual news? How's Bar moving? Yeah, Bar on the spike with it. So either same thing again, same thing again, same thing again, or reclaim an up. Not making this easy though, is it? Just washing backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. Not making it easy right now. If we're going to break down again, I don't mind re-attacking if we're going to break down. Come on, ES, do it. Do it. Do it. You would take profit trader. I mean, today's been a tough day to analyze. But we'll get better action after CPI tomorrow. Probably a lot of positioning going into today. Same play every day, though, so far this week. Shorts trapped at the open, squeeze up, pull back for a little bit, consolidate for longer than we probably should, and then have to just be patient to see what it sets up. Yesterday, we took the opposite trade, right? Rather than taking this short yesterday, I waited for the sweep and I took the long back up. Today, the difference is we need to get back above the IB high. Different trades because of the gap down. Thank you. I think it's iJazM. iJazz. I think I'm saying that right. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Here every single day from pre-market all the way into lunch. This year's been really good. We've had some big trades on stream together. Last few days have been a little bit slower. But we can't do anything if the market, we can only trade what the market gives us, right? So if it's a slower market, that's what we get. And the initial balance today is 144 points. It's not bad, but most of that was done in a drive up in the opening 5 minutes. And then we just sort of went sideways and drifted higher in a bit of a short squeeze. And now we're sort of just plateauing out a little bit while it makes its mind up of what comes next. Trying to reclaim the flow zones here. Notice that held on to the deep pullback flow zones the whole time. The lower cloud, it held on to it. All right, we haven't had these cross for this move here. So this is pulled back in and held. If we build liquidity here, it becomes more and more possible. Nothing to do here. Just let it shake out for a bit. $15 or 14 minutes left until we get a lunchtime, new hourly candle. Yesterday, that's when we started moving. We started actually moving at lunch. I just feel like this is probably the calm before the storm tomorrow. Honestly, it's a terrible day when the best you can do is like this. Like, it's no different to like if you get this long. It's the same size move. I mean, if you got long at the open, congrats, but there's no setup there other than we were in demand. I was looking for this rather than straight up. Was it a news event at the Open? I didn't see that. The only news event I saw at the Open, Aaron, was the Apple news, which was like 15 minutes before the Open. Are they going to let this go now? What are you doing? Make your minds up. I will join this if you're going to get weak. Like, if you're going to get weak, I don't mind joining. If you're not, I'm not going to do it. So just make your mind up, market. VIX is still at the lows. It's just basing out by a low of day. ES, though, failed. It's had so many pushes up to previous day close and is not getting above it. Which is kind of weird, to be honest. It's already cleared it out once or twice. It shouldn't be finding a supply at that exact point. If we break down here, I will join. if it will let me. Very different structure again, with the ES looking much, much more bullish. Much more bullish. Like watching paint dry today. Feels like it's coming now. That last push on ES failing that previous day close. Let's see how it acts here in these blocks. Worst thing is, again, just like yesterday, we're going to probably do the setup into lunch. It's the last thing I want to see. Come on, then. If you're going to do it, do it. Liquidity is absolutely stacked here. 50 lots or 55 lots. 820, 815, 810, 805, and then 126 lot at 800. Underneath that, we've got room. Gets a little bit thin all the way down to 75. So there's like a 50 lot down there. Again, ES is the one making this hard work right now. I know Apple's having strength, but look across the board. It's not that much of a strong day. Here we go. Come on, ES. Just come back to your IB high. Here we go, team. I'm in this now. Looking for a continuation lower. Stop's already in the money. I am not willing to get trapped in this. All right, I'm not willing. So it either goes or it doesn't. And that's the kind of play we're in right now. We're in that IB high fail, looking for the rotation from IB high in towards anchor VWAP. This, you must take partial here. And then if it really gets weak down here. Nice volume in that candle, team. It's a little bit better. Stop soaking, please. Please. Just one continuation. Just one for the session, please. Thank you. All right, team. So coming into the anchor VWAP, make sure you take a little bit of money there. Protect your profits. Take a little bit of money into anchor VWAP. And then we're looking for trades lower into VWAP and all this liquidity down here. But you can't be chasing this, all right? You should already be in it and you should be taking some profits. ES coming back into its 5-day, not quite at its IB high yet, but it's getting close. So all pops must fail now for your rotation. Remember, you're getting very, very close to lunchtime. Very, very, very close to lunchtime. So this is going to start to feel a bit like Asia here. All right, we're going to start to probably build something like this. You're going to have to be careful of. We can just go from here. You're looking for a drift. Remember, buyers stepped in here today. This is low run. We can easily come and do this. This is what we're looking for. Lovely. Let's go, team. Let's go. All right, IB high here on the ES. Key level on the ES. If the ES holds this, it still has an auction higher. If it fails this, it has a failed auction setup. Let's go. It took some time today. Thank you, all those who stuck with me. It took some time to get some trades come today, but they've started to start panning out here. We can still drift lower. We need pops to fail, but again, just remember you're in lunch. Remember that ES right now is at its IB high. It can still soak off this if it wants, right? It can still auction higher if it wants on the ES. You should be locking in partials here in your trade in the NQ or the ES. If you took it, you should be locking in some partials here. Protect your profits. All right, because if we're going to do what we did yesterday, all right, then we're sweeping to trap late bears to come back upside. If we stay heavy versus this level, these guys here will be the targets. Hopefully that makes sense for everyone, but at least we got a nice trade for the backside of the session. Took a bit of time, didn't it? Took a bit of time. Omolabi, did I say that right? Omoluabi? I don't know if I said that right. Sorry if I said it wrong. Thank you very much. Saying loves my style of trading. W, Blake got the W. Lovely. Lots of you getting the W. We look good here. Honestly, we look good for a continuation. You just got to be very, very careful now because ES is right at that IB high that we talked about. All right, but it looks good for a continuation. No reason to cover all of your runners yet. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. There's your 800s team. All right, so keep holding on to this now. Weakness starting to step into the market. This is a big, big level for ES around here. We're going to look for that move down to the next VWAP. Let's go. Who is that guy questioning my drawings? Where are you? Where are you? Teach for free and still come here to give me hate. It's nuts. Just gifted you this. Here we go. Beautiful. So please, partials into VWAP. Then you have low running liquidity down here. These are the buyer's stops that it will want to aim for next. You must be paying yourself some money. This is the biggest move of the day that we caught here. It might not seem like it, but it pretty much is. We're coming into a new hourly bar in like 4 minutes. This is also point of control right now. This is point of control. All right, so lots of volume down here from overnight where we broke out from. So we left 1 point of control at 836, trading down into VWAP. This is a big, big, big flipping level down here. ES absolutely getting hammered down here right now underneath. So you need pops to stay heavy. Remember, we're at VWAP. You should be covering some position. We have a new H1 bar coming. This is volume area down here. This is point of control down here. Be smart. All right, please be smart. So W's in chat. If you took this with me, if you got some of this short, you should be either flat or holding a runner now. If it allows us to add on pops, we can think about that. But we repriced that whole H1 bar that we talked about. That's what we were looking for. We've already done what we were looking for. Lots of you absolutely nailing this. I love to see it. Brian, Tyson, TR, Blake, Marek, Array, Vince, Christy, Snooker Pro, Myron, Ian, RHD, Omulabi, Tyson, IB to VWAP. Yeah, mate. Love that trade, eh? Leron, Andrew G. I love it. Thank you, guys. It was worth hanging around to like the 80 odd of you or whoever's here now, 77, who hung around. About 40 of you left. This is getting very, very weak now. A lot of weakness and a lot of heaviness trying to step into this market. You cannot chase this down. This is a long way down now. All right, but if this is going to let go, we're going to come and aim for all these stops and possibly all the way back to where we broke out from this morning. All right, if it washes under here, this was a squeeze. This can get filled very easily down here. The main move of the day has probably been and gone. We probably just did it. Oh. But into lunch here as well. You can think about that H1. When we talk about that H1, we talked about rebalancing to where we came from, which is what we've just done. All right, so upside moves would be this being a trap, would be upside. Otherwise, you're looking for failures to continue lower. Yeah, failures to continue lower if we're going to go rotate all the way back down to IB low, which will be low of day. ES so far Getting stuck at that IB high, interestingly. If that starts to let go, it's going to help thesis of this move down. VIX having a spike, breaking out of that 6 or towards 16s we were talking about. Please wash here. I would love it if you wash here for my runners. I would absolutely love it. Problem is, again, is lunch. This is going to be the problem. ES might offer the IB high to VWAP trade, right? That's what ES is potentially looking at here. Potentially. It's very early to say that, but worst thing is lunch, and that we've left a huge 5-minute imbalance on this last candle down, so it can trade way, way, way higher now before finding sellers if it wants to. Just dancing around in front of the VWAP here. We're underneath the flow zones. We are into pools of liquidity. There's levels that it might want to come and attack, these long wicks. If we get under those, then we can probably go back towards low of day. That's a big ask, but it is possible. Again, Apple, the strong one in the market. Everything else red in this market. Everything else red in this market. If we get a breakdown here, let's go. I'm getting excited now. Come on. Come on, let's go all the way to low of day, just for me. Let's do it in this new hourly bar. It's a new hourly candle. I want to be very careful if we wick the old hourly low and turn back inside. So basically, VWAP right now is effectively my risk. I do not want that this hourly to come beneath the last hour and come back inside and trade upside, right? I don't want to see that on my runner. All those doubters this morning. All those doubters. I mean, every day, out of the goodness of my heart, to try and teach and show you what I'm looking at and give you the reasons, rather than just saying, I'm doing this or I made this much money. I actually teach, and I still get people come to chat who must be here for all of 5 seconds questioning what I do. It's crazy, man. Crazy. All right, what we could actually do here for the remainder of the session, we could do an anchor off this high, because this is where bulls are currently trapped. Probably should have done that earlier, Alex. That would have helped you, wouldn't it? Still looks good for lower. What I would be very, very worried about now is based on this H1, because we're into lunch. If we stay heavy versus point control, great, right? We can come all the way back down to here. What you don't want to see is a sweep and a turn on this H1 candle in lunchtime. Oh my God, this looks so heavy. Looks amazing. Oh, but Andrew, I just want them to hang around long enough to drop the egos so they can actually get something out of the stream. Right? Because it annoys me, like, that I do something out of kindness and get hate, and it's like I'm literally gifting stuff. Like, so just be nice if the ego just went down for a moment. But it's all right. As the stream gets bigger, it happens more and more. I'm finding. I don't know how some of the other guys deal with it. It drives me nuts. Drifting lower here. All right. This IBH to VWAP trade on ES is looking very, very probable right now. Look at the VIX. 16s, knocking on the door of 16s, right? So that's the turn on the VIX we were looking for. This is just dumperooski, man. Just keep going. Let's just keep going. Let's keep going. Right, we're clearing out these stops now. Remember, these were the stops, so you must be taking some partials into here. Underneath here, we can get back into this pool. Now, this is a big sell, guys, right? We were short from here, and eventually it went for us. This is a big, big old move here. We got the best move of the day. All that time when we're just drifting higher, and I said, I'm not buying this. I do not like the structure. This was the best structure of the day. Stuck underneath initial balance, stuck underneath anchor VWAP, bear flag, and puke, and it's just going to let go. It's fantastic. Beautiful. All right, so out almost all of mine now. I don't mind reattacking. I do not mind reattacking this, but we are very, very low on this most recent move. Okay, ES almost into VWAP here. But the main objective, all right, we've taken all the main objectives. Next objective will be down here. And we've had the meat of this move. Our job is to get the meat of the move, and we got it. Right, that's our job as traders. Wow, look at the heaviness just come pouring into this market. Are we going to go to IB low? So ES now has done its IB high to VWAP. So ES has completed its move as well. You must be de-risking here, guys. I cannot say this enough. Even if it goes lower, right now you need to be de-risking. The market has hit all its main objectives. Its objectives are IB high to VWAP. We did it on the NQ. It's just done it on the ES. The next objective was to go and take out all the liquidity of these bulls who chased the market this morning. We've taken them out. So anything down here is a bonus now. We can always reattack it, all right? We can always reattack it, but you must be paying yourself. Pay yourself some money. Let them go. Those who stay gains tons of knowledge. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome, Clint. Thank you for joining the team. Saw that yesterday. Great to have you. Yeah, exactly, Johnny boy. Thank you, Trentry. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Appreciate the kind words. This is getting absolutely cooked right now. Absolutely cooked right now into a big imbalance that we did this morning. So just have to be patient. Let the trade work for you. At some point, it should offer some relief bounce. If it does that, you can think about re-adding. Nice, Johnny boy. Love it. Absolutely love it, mate. It's got a long way. Gone a long way down. Let's just check something. Where's my New York Open? Yeah, we're through golden zone already on the New York session. This is so heavy. Those longs just gave up. They just eventually just gave up. They all got trapped at the top. And what are we doing? I'm going to remind everyone in Discord what we talked about this morning. Range rotation. What are we doing right now? So easy to get confused. Blue box to red box to blue box. Range rotation. I think we went on over it in stream this morning as well. Range rotation. That's what we were looking for today. That's what the market wants to do until it proves otherwise, right? Range rotation. So ES coming down to the pool of liquidity. All right, so this pool here, ES is coming into it now. All right, and it's coming into its old trend line. So it can be a back test and find a bid here soon, just so you're aware. So again, the risk. Trading is about taking money out of the market. If you are up big right now, you should be paying yourself. You can hold runners, but you should be paying yourself. Big, big level coming up here on ES. Have a look at the book. 675. Lovely Coop. Yeah, great trade. Yeah, this set up for like more of a wash here, didn't it? Down to here. It's looking really good. I'd love a pop-up and a fail. It's so heavy. All these bulls are just like getting smoked now. So there's just no relief bounce in this market. And look at the volume picking up. Look at this volume down here in this sell. Massive volume. Biggest of the day since the open, really. So all those bulls trapped at the high. It's literally exactly the same as yesterday. We're just going deeper, right? They trapped here, failed auction, couldn't reclaim. ES made it really hard to hold for the first attempt, this one, but we got this one, so perfect. Like I said, I never mind having a couple stabs at it. So IB low on deck. Would you believe it? IB low is on deck now for the NQ. We're very, very close to IB low, which will be 700. We are just absolutely slamming through all these levels right now. They are getting absolutely destroyed. Buyers on the tape are non-existent. There's been no bounce at all yet. No relief at all. Just hold your runners, pay yourself some money, looking for the IB low now into this blue box. Remember, this blue box is old demand. If we start failing the blue box and rejecting it, we're going to flip this to supply and go for the next leg down. The next leg down will be looking for a move into 600, right? For a move into 600, which is an old point of control. So if we fail this and stay heavy, this is the move here. If we do a failed auction like this morning, we get relief. Right, but really the range, like we talked about all day, was here to here. That's the range in the market right now. The range was set from yesterday, right? We had the range yesterday, here to here, right? Here to here. Trading inside bars. That's all we're doing. Nice if this gave a big drive up. So far from the flow zones right now to think about putting anything else on right now. Very, very far. Even in this leg down, you can measure this single leg. It's just so weak. Let me draw. Yeah, a long way to go. Come on, give some relief. I want to put some size on. We need some relief for some size. Let's see if what news was coming out there. Some crude stuff. Powell, US won't have CBDC while I'm Fed chair. I commit that we're never going to have a central bank digital currency. Here we go. Here's some relief coming. Come on, drive. So watching ES into VWAP here, see how we go. Overall aggregate numbers good on economy. Sharp increase in N2 might cause some inflation. Market wouldn't have liked that, that's for sure. Probably one of the big comments. See, this is what Trump's caused. This just came out. Israel. If Hamas does not return the hostages by Saturday noon, the ceasefire will end and the military will return to intense fighting until Hamas is finally defeated. So that's all from Trump yesterday. It's just inciting war. The market does not want that. All right, we do not want that. Yeah, green but left my mortgage on the table. That's a good comment. I like that, Andrew. Well, look, these happen every day, right? So don't worry about it. I mean, this is it's only 100 points. I know, like 100 points is a lot, but in the market recently, we've had like 500 point days. So don't worry about it, right? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Pulled back right to the pivot floor to the tick. Oh, it's in front of IB right now. I'd like to see if it can get down to like 700. I don't mind like some relief before it gets there. ES is right at that downtrend that we talked about. It's back testing the downtrend from overnight that we broke out through, and it's coming back to it. So maybe to see how ES reacts at VWAP here. Remember, if too many shorts chase the market at lows, that's when it squeezes. All right, so you can't be chasing this at lows. 700 on the tape and 675 on the tape. That's the big buying. 150 lot at 700, 100 lot at 675. I'm going to stay with you here just a little bit longer, and then I'm going to bug out for the day. Just still holding a tiny piece. I'd love to put some more size on, but I'm not going to let it come above probably that last wick that you just put in that last drive up. So either this bear flags down like this, or it doesn't. Would love a drive higher, like a 2-leg, 1, 2, and then a failure to risk off to get more size on. That's what I'd really like. But often, very much like the squeeze earlier. Do you remember the squeeze to the upside earlier? There's no real pullbacks in this because everyone's trapped. Same as this. Like, there's no pullbacks in this move because all the shorts are trapped down here. So when all the longs are trapped down here and it lets go, that's it. It's game over. It's the same thing. It's just this time we were positioned for it. We had a bit longer to work out what was going on. We had all this time with all these clues to work out what was going on. Oh my God, come on. All this time. So we had a failed auction. We had the IB. We had structure being built. We had flow zones turning. We had the anchored view up. We had reasons to think about going lower. Whereas here, yes, we had reasons for it to go higher, but it opened and went. It's not like we did this at the open and then went. It just went, right? So either you were quick on the trigger, opening second of the market, or you weren't. So, like I said, always say, you have to be a sniper. Being very, very patient in the market is what will pay you. You can learn to not click the mouse randomly, not use your hotkeys randomly. If you can learn to let it build out, it will offer you opportunities for a trade. It's just whether you've got the patience to stick around and the discipline to not trade all the crap before it. Many will argue that I missed trades here, but I purposely said I'm not long in this when we're building upside structure. This was a better long, and I didn't take it because of the IB. But then's the failed auction, and then we get the rotation. All you need is one good trade. One good trade changes your whole day. Right, well into 4 figures up now. That changes your whole day, right? One good trade. Just subbed. Been trying to get into trading for a while, but very, very green. Oh, nice. Thank you, T. Smith. Appreciate it. Miguel Bardol. Have I spelled that right? Bardowell? Maybe that's better. Miguel Bardowell. Sorry if I got that wrong. First time here. Love the energy. Thank you for joining. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Here every single day live. Monday to Friday. Pre-market. All the way into lunch. And sometimes, like today and yesterday, when we get a good trade in lunch, I stay that little bit longer. If you like how I trade and you want to learn more, there's tons on my YouTube for free. And if you want a really in-depth look at it, then there is a 20-hour course available. Links down below. So one-time fee, you get the course, you get this flow zone indicator right here that you're looking at, and you get access to my Discord for free. All right, and that's a one-time fee. Discord included, flow zones included. 20-hour in-depth course, all on demand. You will not find a course like it elsewhere. I absolutely promise you. All right, so let this market peter out now. You should not be short in the hole here. Really, you're thinking about potential fibs, either from here. You could also think from high of day. You can think from this last breakdown here. You'd be looking for a return, a 2-leg return back in. 1, 2. Then you want to see a failure, a reason for it to fail, and a return back down. Maybe the 2-leg return just goes to here and returns back down, and then cover points into this if it offers it. Do not get short in the hole down here. It doesn't matter if it screams lower. You are asking for pain. Zoom out onto the higher time frame, right? Let it break down and retest. If it's going to stay heavy, let it break down and retest, and then take the leg down. Don't front run this, right? Front running this is like, I'm trying to think what it's like doing. It's like getting long here before it's confirmed. Yeah, so it's getting long near the high of the day before it's confirmed. You'd be getting short here at the low of the day before it's confirmed. Don't do that. Do not do that. Get out of that habit. Do not guess the bottoms, right? This momentum's very, very, very strong downside right now. You're trying to guess this bottom. At some point, you'll get flushed out again. I would stick to shorts. And I'd think about this liquidity, where these bulls got trapped. I'd think about what the fib range is, maybe for this flag. I'd think about this VWAP. I'd think about this. You can even put an anchor on there. We can do that in a second. Anchor off the low. That's the average price of bulls right now. Dark blue. And just let this drift higher. And then if a short sets up, it will tell you. Otherwise, if it starts reclaiming this, right, then we go all the way back up again. Remember, we're in a range rotation, all right? Edges pay, range, range. Meat of the move. If this confirmed for whatever reason, you could get a move back up towards here. I'd still much rather stick with the shorts, expecting a bounce to fade into. That's what I'd expect, unless a news event changes it. Andrew G, I think I've watched over 20 of your videos the past couple of days. Oh, happy days. Happy days. Hopefully they're helping. Hopefully they're helping. All right, so ES already through its VWAP. All right, ES is already well through its VWAP. Very, very strong here. Qs can still drift higher. All right, it can still come higher into the flow zones now if it wants to come and attack these sort of key levels. Remember, these are your anchors. Anchor off the high and anchor off New York, same place. This seems to be a key level, which, by the way, is 800. So a whole number. Is there anyone on the book there for you? I'm flat now, by the way, guys. Sorry, I should have said. I did say my stop here after this trade. So I took the last one off here. Can always reattack. Is there anyone at 800? No, there isn't. No one's up there right now. So if this wants to go all the way back up, it can go all the way back up. You cannot just guess the short on this. All right, it will tell you when it's ready. It will tell you. There is lots of liquidity lower, though. Lots and lots and lots of liquidity lower. And I just opened up my Twitter for a second. It's just full of beef right now between futures traders, let's say. Crazy. Crazy world. Yeah, drama. Stay out of drama. Distracting. I stay out of all of that. I've got my opinions on it, but I'm not interested in getting involved. So yes, possibly driving a little further up than some market participants expected here. NQ might want to come up towards VWAP, like we said, or the anchors and all of those sort of spots. They're all in a similar position. If it squeezes through that, don't discount a move all the way back to supply. Right, but flow zones here will be key. Watching how ES reacts if it backtests the VWAP now, right? So ES has got through the VWAP. Does it start to fail, or does it start to soak off the VWAP for a squeeze higher now? Right, remember, we are in range rotation. That's what we're in. Don't leave you. I've got to go at some point. I've got to walk my dog again. I'm flying solo at home right now. I need to get to the gym, and I've got an appointment this afternoon. I'm going for global entry on my passport, so I don't have to queue for hours and hours and hours coming in and out of LAX as someone on an English passport. Time for food. Nice one, Brian. Great work. So yes, all the way back to its IBH now. So it held. All right, if you look at the downtrend, it held it. Big downtrend from Asia, London that it broke out from, came back, tested it, held it. Almost at its IBH now, into an area that it broke down from. We are almost at VWAP now, all right? Almost at VWAP now. So a big rotation off demand back towards VWAP now. Remember, you got the anchors above as well. Did they just wash all the way down to collect more buys to go all the way back up? I don't know, but it's possible. Let's have a look if there's any news hitting the tape as well, because it sounds like maybe Powell's still talking. Yeah, still talking. Squeeze all the way back up. Like I said, you cannot get short in the hole. So these areas here are going to be sort of key. These anchors are going to be key, and this area up here. If it starts reclaiming that, oof, I'd be worried about the shorts who did not cover like we did into the lows. Remember, we were covering into key levels to pay ourselves. I think that's going to be it for me, though, team. Honestly, I think that's it for me. We had a good day. We had to be patient, but we had a good day. I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to get some food, hit the gym, and go from there. So see you tomorrow morning, same time as always, like about 10-15 minutes before the open. And let's have a good day. Let's go again. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. Be kind to each other, use hard stops, all the usual stuff. Catch you soon.